Hey everyone! Welcome to day 2 of Halloweek. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to take a pair of shoes and turn them into some boots. So this year I went to Comic-Con and I dressed up as Alana from Saga. Here's a picture of her if you don't know what she looks like or who the heck this character is. I specifically chose her because I'm pregnant, so I thought it would be kind of a cool pregnancy costume. I figured, I don't know if I'm even gonna really go out this year, but if I do, that's gonna be the costume I'm gonna wear. So yeah, I like this technique because you could use it really for a bunch of different costumes. I've done this years ago. I took a pair of heels and turned them into knee-high boots so that I could be Poison Ivy. Leave a picture up here. Yeah, it's a really nice technique because those kind of boots can get really expensive, and if you're just needing it for a costume, then you don't really want to spend like a few $100s on boots that you're gonna wear like once a year, if that. So yeah, enough of my rambling. Let's get started. You'll need a pair of shoes, fabric, scissors, pins, a sewing machine, and industrial strength glue, something like E6000 or shoe glue or something like that. Here are the shoes I'm starting with. I needed the wedge of the heel to be black, so I ended up spray painting them. I also spray painted the body of the shoe white because I was worried that the brown would show through the fabric. And finally, I cut out the zipper because these are basically going to be useless after I add all the extra fabric. Lay your fabric out. Put the shoes on and put your leg onto the fabric, wrap the fabric around your leg, and pin it in the back. Mark your fabric, giving yourself enough of a seam allowance. I went with almost an inch of seam allowance. I would err on the side of being a bit too big with where you mark it, so that you have some room to take it in if you need to later. So that's why I did that. You're also going to use this as the pattern for the other shoe, and if you're anything like me, you have one calf that's a bit bigger than the other, and you'll want to be able to account for that. Also, if your fabric is stretchy, you can just pull it tight around the shoe and your ankle right here, but if you're using fabric that's not so stretchy, like mine, you can cut the fabric from the toe up, down the middle, until you can get the fabric to drape around your ankle better. When it's all marked, you can remove and cut the fabric. Make sure to give yourself enough extra fabric at the base of the shoe. You can always remove extra later. Transfer the pattern onto more fabric and cut it out. And actually for me, the white fabric was kind of see-through, so I ended up cutting an extra layer for each boot. Fold the fabric in half, right sides touching, pin along the edge, and sew along the edge. And then flip right sides out. At this point, you should slip it on to make sure it's a good size, and take it in if you need to. Slip the fabric back onto your leg, put your shoe on, and trim the base so that there's only about 1/4 to 1/2 inch extra fabric. Use industrial strength glue, and working in sections, spread on the shoe and then lay the fabric on. And when you get to the base, trim the excess off carefully. You want it to look nice and neat. Alternatively, you can fold the extra fabric under so that the edge won't be raw. I ended up going back with more fabric to finish off the edge, which I'll show you how I did it later. When that's all glued in place, you can take off the shoe and then repeat for your other shoe. So like I mentioned earlier, my fabric wasn't stretchy, so I had to cut up the middle of the toe area of the shoe. So if you had to do the same, it's now time to cover that up. Just cut a piece of fabric that's big enough to cover that area. I ended up folding down and sewing along one edge of the extra piece of fabric so that it had a pretty side that is going to be, the part that's going to be shown on top of the shoe. You could just fold it and glue it like you did earlier though, if you wanted. I thought the stitching just gave it a nice little detail. And now just glue this extra piece down. I tried to make it symmetrical with my other boot. They kind of go at the same angle, but mirrored. So yeah. And Again, like I mentioned, I didn't like how messy it was around the edge, so for me, I ended up cutting an extra strip, folding the ends in, basically making bias tape, and then I glued that around the base so that it looked a little bit neater than before. Once the glue is all set up, the boots are done. And here are some pictures of my completed Alana costume. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all of that good stuff. Here's today's featured project. If you want to be featured here, then use the hashtag CheslinDIY and you'll have a chance to be featured here. Don't forget, tomorrow is day 3 of Halloweek, so be sure to go check that out. I'll see you then. Thank you so much to my patrons for helping me produce this video. If you like my videos and have learned something from them, please consider supporting me on Patreon to help me continue to make them. It's totally optional. I'll still be making videos either way. It just helps me be able to put out better stuff. A link will be down below, or you can just click up here in the corner.